Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it is Thursday. So we're doing a Thursday think tank. And of course, the Thursday think tank now is a call-in show. So if you guys feel like calling me, if you're a member of the channel, you have access to the hotline. The number to call is in the community tab. If you're a member, you can see it. And also in the Facebook chat for people that are in the Facebook chat. I'm not getting a reading on my volume, just so if you can get a thumbs up from somebody real quick that I've got volume coming through. But I believe it's coming through. I don't know. Let me turn up the mic. Hello. Of course, yesterday was a big day for Team Canada basketball. They announced their 20-man invitees for training camp for the Paris Olympics. And it's a very surprising list, honestly. Very, very surprising list. Good morning to you, Bryce Lawson. It is Bryce's birthday, guys. Happy 22nd birthday to Bryce. But yeah, Rowan Barrett Sr. coming out and talking about the people that aren't coming and different things. Very, very interesting day yesterday. A lot of stuff kind of is been sorted out. Of course, I got the 20 list. Let me just go over it real quick with you guys. It's Kyle Alexander, Nickel Alexander-Walker, RJ Barrett, Trey Bell Haynes, Kem Birch, O'Shea Brissett, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, Zach Edey, Melvin Ejim, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Mufando Kamangili, Trey Lyles, Jamal Murray, Andrew Nebhard, Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell, Phil Scrubb, Thomas Scrubb, and Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, this is an interesting list. I think the biggest surprise to me is Kabengele. Kabengele has not been in the NBA or the G League for a year now. He went overseas and played in Europe this past year. He's a weird player. He really didn't make the NBA. He was in the Celtics system and playing for Maine Celtics like 2 seasons ago. But he's very intriguing. The thing about Kabengele is he's a very good shot blocker. He has a lot of length. And, there's something that Grange said on Twitter yesterday that makes complete sense. There may be an issue with Zach Edey playing for Team Canada. Seriously, because he's a rookie. He's about to get drafted. And basically, Summer League and a lot of the rookie activities this summer coincide with July Olympics. So, in some ways, depending on who Zach gets drafted by will depend on whether he's going to be available for Canada in Paris, because the NBA team that drafts him will have to give permission to allow Zach to play. Now, that's why even more of a reason why we want Zach to get drafted by the Raptors, because we know if Zach is drafted by Masai and Bobby, he will be available to play for Canada, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But if he goes to any other team, all bets are off. We don't know. We don't know for sure. So that Zach Edey spot may be filled by some of the people that were invited instead. Now, it's interesting. Corey Joseph snub, we talked about this extensively yesterday, and Kevin Pangos. Well, really what Rowan Barrett Sr. said in the press conference yesterday is we're trying to build the absolute best Team Canada roster we can to compete at Paris Olympics. And that totally makes sense. In some ways, they need to do well to set up money for them in the future. And they can't mess around with this. Also, Mike, Logical Raptors fanatic, pointed out yesterday that in some ways, funds and resources for Team Canada program is low right now. And in some ways, they can't just bring a whole wide net of 30 guys in there. They could get 30 guys, really good guys, to be in training camp. But they have to be a little penny pitching right now in some ways. That may be the difference between inviting somebody that's from the NBA and inviting one of the Scrub brothers to this invitation. So they did a good job of honoring most of the guys who have worn the red and white for Canada in the past, as far as giving them invites to come down. It's great to see guys like Trey Bell Haynes, the Scrub brothers, Melvin Ejim, Kem Birch, and O'Shea Brissett on that list. But who is likely and who is not likely to make the 12-man roster out of these 20? I would say right now, what they'll probably do is they're going to make 5 cuts at the end of the training camp that are just not going to be involved going forward. And they'll have a 12-man roster with 3 alternates just in case for injury. And as I said, Zach Edey is a big question mark. I'm not going to say he's a lock to be at Paris just because of the draft situation and him being a rookie. And his team may want him to play in Summer League instead of at the Olympics. Now, in some ways, that's mean because it's like, how many opportunities is this kid going to get to play in the Olympics? I have no idea. Probably a few, because Canada's rise to prominence is here. But in the history of Canada, getting to the Olympics is rare. And in some ways, well, we should be standard coming there every single time now as a power in world basketball. So we'll have to see. In some ways, Zach may be telling his new team is like, look, it's the Olympics. It's a summer league. I can get more out of the Olympics competing against them than these guys in summer league. So why wouldn't you want to send me? That's why it'd be great if the Raptors just drafted Zach, because then he's going to the Olympics with two of his teammates, and he's already put work in with them already. So, man, I really want us to draft Zach bad. But, man, these NBA mock drafts are putting him right above us where we just don't get him. So maybe they do have to trade up. So, yeah, lots going on. I have a couple comments on how I feel about each player on the team as far as who's more likely to make the team and who is not. So, yeah, all right, we'll see Trevor J's first in. Trevor's saying, good morning, Raptors family. We are breathing. We are alive. We are truly blessed this morning. Thank you, Commissioner J. He's exactly right. Wake up with the most basic of gratitude, and that is to wake up to another day. I have to say happy birthday to Bryce, as I said earlier, and also a happy birthday to Adriana today. It's Adriana's birthday today, guys, also. Trevor J. saying NBA TV last night had a sit-down NBA draft get to know with first-round picks. There was some footage on Zach Edey. Yeah, Zach's interesting. He does not want to go to the green room. He's the only one out of all the draft prospects for the top 20 that has refused and rejected the invitation to be live at the draft. I really respect that, honestly, in a lot of ways. Nako is here. Good to see Gerald Mayhew, our good friend Nako the Nacho. DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook got on stage with Kendrick last night. LeBron was in attendance. That's cool. I like that a lot. Of course, those California guys out there doing California things. And LeBron was in attendance. You know, DeMar's had some really cool footage on his Instagram stories this week of him hitting the speed bag and looking real tough and looking real badass. There's an article out on ESPN this morning that's really annoying to me. It's basically outlining players that could get huge extensions, 17 stars who could land massive deals this offseason. And guess who's not on that list and getting snubbed and getting any attention, even though he probably will sign the biggest, most lucrative contract in Toronto Raptors history. Yeah, I don't understand y'all, ESPN. How can you not put Scotty Barnes and his extension on that list of stars coming up? You're going to look so stupid for overlooking our guy Barnes in the future. Watch. But yeah, snubbing us once again on a list of extension stars. They're going to get huge extensions this summer. Well, you should put Scotty on there. You losers at ESPN. You should have done that. Yeah. Monique is here. Good to see Monique, the super fan Lawrence. She has very strong opinions today, and I will give a voice to them. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Fuck Andrew Wiggins. That is all. Go Canada, though everything else is fine with me, for sure. Yeah, Monique not happy that Andrew's on the 20 list over guys like Chris Boucher or Corey Joseph. Chris Boucher reacting to the news of the 20 names with no comment. I'm sure it may be that he's okay with it. He's at peace with not being on the team. But I take Chris Boucher saying that as being like, don't come at me and ask me why I'm not on Team Canada. No comment. Because I'm sure dumb people are jumping in his DMs or sending messages asking him, Chris, why aren't you on Team Canada? Why aren't you on Team Canada? He has no comment. In some ways, we understand why this is this way. He does too. And he, as much as he'd love to be on that team with his friend Dylan Brooks, it's just not going to happen, guys. In some ways, he has never been around the program the whole entire time. In some ways, we've talked recently about why Chris Boucher is not being considered for Team Canada stuff. It's because the FIBA game has a wider lane and there's no 3-second rule. And to play in that league, you have to have down low strength and positioning to be able to push people out. And in some ways, Chris is not that kind of big. And in some ways, he's a big that really suits the NBA game, but he's not a big that suits the FIBA game in any kind of way. And as Rowan Barrett Sr. said yesterday, he wants to build the best team possible that he can. Now, the reason why Corey Joseph and Kevin are not invited to the camp is because he has a glut of overly talented, amazing guards already that are probably ensconced and going to be there. People like SGA, Jamal Murray, Lou Dort, Dylan Brooks. When you got those guys already, you don't really need Corey Joseph. You don't need depth at the guard position. Now, the position we need depth at for this Olympics, which we did not have very good depth at last year at the FIBA World Cup, is up front. And yeah, that's why we have a plethora of different weird looks in this camp invitation list of bigs. You got Kem Birch, who's finally got vitality in his knees again, and he can get up over the rim. So he has an outside chance of making this team. You got O'Shea Brissett, whose birthday is today also, guys. Happy birthday to O'Shea Brissett, who's having like one of the best weeks ever of his life, becoming an NBA champion with the Boston Celtics this week, and also getting invited to this. Now, he has a good chance to make this team, partly because of his NBA work and also, his past work for Team Canada already. He did not play last year because he was injured during the summer last year and could not be at World Cup, but he could have easily been on that team on World Cup last year. People like Cabin Geely, Trey Lyles, these guys are on the list because we need to look at the bigs and figure out some bigs to be there, especially if Zach's not going to be available. We're going to have to figure out a replacement for Zach out of those other guys that are coming, like Cabin Geely, Birch, and Lyles. So it's very interesting. I made a spreadsheet. I'm not going to show it to you guys, but I've got my locks to be on the team for sure. Obviously, SGA, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, Lou Dort. Those are my 5 locks for sure that I know will be on this team this summer. Everybody else, I'm not sure. And the reason why I didn't put Kelly Olynyk on this list is because, listen, Rowan Barrett Sr. said this yesterday. Nobody's just given a spot. Yeah, sure. Some of y'all have probably got one already, SGA. Yeah, we know SGA is going to be on that team. But a lot of these guys are coming. They have to try out and make their position on the team. And that means coming in and out competing the other guys there. So if I'm speculating on that kind of stuff, and if you do some Brian Winderson, you got to think about the NBA guys. Well, the talent slide out of the NBA is kind of shows the top players. The best talented ones are the ones the NBA keeps, right? So in some ways, Corey Joseph kind of slipping out of the NBA this season. Kem Birch, Cabin Geely, these guys kind of have a lesser of a chance just because in some ways the talent that is in the NBA is the supreme ultimate talent in the world. And we have so many guys in the NBA at this point that in some ways we could have a full NBA team, like you guys kept saying. In some ways, I argued against that, saying that the promise and the good stuff from Melvin Ejim, somebody like that, is good for a FIBA Team Canada team. But I'm starting to come around because in some ways, the list of 20 yesterday made me realize, we could do a full NBA team and we could get away with it. And it may not be that bad of a thing. It really is going to be who comes to this camp and really wows them. Jordi Fernandez is adamant that these guys have to show him something, and then he can make the team. Now, Monique's really mad that Andrew Wiggins is there. Somebody who's so loyal like Corey Joseph is not invited. Meanwhile, this guy, Andrew Wiggins, who's shunned us, turned his back on Team Canada, has not been a loyal Team Canada person. Why the hell does he get an invite? Well, Rowan said it yesterday. He said, a healthy and strong Andrew Wiggins is a very good player, and we're trying to make our best team. Now, just because he said that, Mo, doesn't mean that's where Andrew is. We don't know where Andrew is with his body and how he's feeling. He could show up to this tryout, and he could absolutely shit the bed and look like absolute crap and not make this team. In fact, that could be very embarrassing for him in some ways, because that could mean that affects his NBA standing with how people look at him with his career in the NBA also. In some ways, Andrew Wiggins has fallen off in the last couple of years just because he hasn't been present. He's had either injuries or he's been away caring for his father. And that's an admirable thing for him to do, since Mitchell Wiggins has had very bad health problems the last couple of years, and Andrew wanted to be there for him. But still, there's a lot of questions there. How good is Andrew Wiggins right now? And while Jordy's going to look at him, and depending on how good he is whether he's going to make the team. I'm going to say it's not a for sure thing for Andrew Wiggins. It's definitely not. Some people are always expecting Andrew's just going to be on the team just because he's a name, the NBA #1 pick in the draft, all that kind of bullshit. Yeah, I get it. He probably has a very good chance to get on the team. But if he doesn't take it seriously, if he comes in there casually, if he doesn't do things right and somebody outcompetes him, he won't make that team. But Monique, I'm sorry to say, I think the chances of Andrew Wiggins being on this team are very likely, unfortunately, even though I totally share your sentiment about him and his history with this team and how in some ways he doesn't deserve it. He really doesn't. So we're going to have to see what happens, Mo. It may be you may be mad about this because I'm going to be ready for it just in case. I'm not putting him on my 12 that I want to play for Canada in Paris, but he is somebody that is got a very good chance to make the team. Now, guys that have a second good chance after the for sure's that I have SGA, Jamal, Dylan, RJ, and Lou. Kelly Olynyk is weird. I'd put him in this for sure category, but he's older. And in some ways, what they said yesterday at the press conference is these guys have to compete to get their spots. Now, can Kelly compete against the other bigs? They're coming to this camp and show that he is one of the best ones that needs to be there. Will he just get through just on his time accrued and loyalty to Team Canada and opposite of Andrew Wiggins? I mean, I believe that will really go far. I think that Kelly Olynyk has worked really well with Jordy Fernandez and everybody else. I think he has a very high probability to make the team. It's just I won't say for sure he will, just in case, guys like Cam Birch and Trey Lyles and O'Shea Brissett come up and they just look way better than him. And he's just like one of the guys who doesn't look as good as the other guys, because that's kind of how it's going to work. Andrew Nebhart is pretty much penciled in on my sheet. But the only thing that is going to hold him back is that he hasn't really gotten through the barrier of being on the team. But I think because of the way he played on the playoffs for the Pacers this year, he's going to make it because he's going to look so good. And he's another reason why somebody like Corey Joseph wasn't invited, because he's an up-and-coming young point guard that is probably going to take one of those guard spots alongside those all-star guards that are already on the team, like SGA and Jamal Murray. So there's not a lot of guard roster spots. So in some ways, they didn't need the resources to check out the guards like Kevin Pangos and Corey Joseph, because the guards are already kind of figured out. The guards are like pretty set. In fact, the guards are the strongest players on the team. So it's really, they want to look at the bigs and figure out who the bigs are. So they want to invite more bigs to the camp. But Andrew Nebhart is the young guard that will make the team and be a new guard on the team. Nickel Alexander-Walker played really well in the playoffs for Minnesota, had really good defense. He got really lauded for his defense in the playoffs. I have a good feeling. And also, I have to talk about the Alexander cousins real quick, and even Kyle, because honestly, they were a great synergy on the team as cousins, family. In some ways, that's a great thing to have as brothers or cousins on your team. And, that may be an in for Kyle on the outside, because I don't think Kyle Alexander will make the team. And part of it is because Kyle is limited in his skills. He does not have a three-pointer. And he kind of he's got value in like his size and some defensive stuff, but we could do better. He could be upgraded. Now, that's the sad thing is like he's one of the cousins. And you break up the Alexander cousins, well, maybe just Kyle, but Nickel can't go too. And Nickel being a bona fide rotational player in a playoff team this season, I think Nickel Alexander-Walker will be nailing one of those spots for sure. But he's not for sure. He's going to have to compete. Now, Dwight Powell's another one that I'm kind of like, Dwight Powell did not play a whole lot for Dallas on this playoff run. And so he's not tired from this run with Dallas, but also that's a signifier that he's kind of maybe fallen off. Now, I know he was really, really important for Team Canada last summer. In fact, he may have been the unsung hero for Team Canada with all the abuse that he took down low from the big teams in FIBA. He was really the one guy that with Kelly that was really, really fighting everybody tooth and nail down there. Now, in some ways, Dwight is not a true center. He's a power forward. And we could upgrade at that position with a little bit bigger size in some ways. I think Dwight's got a good chance to make the team, obviously, because he was on the team last summer. But how much did he fall off during his season with the Mavericks this year, to the point where maybe he comes into this training camp and he doesn't actually look like one of the better bigs out of everybody that's there? That's what I'm saying. This is a thing. Nothing's earned. And just because you were there last summer doesn't mean you're going to be on this team, according to Rowan Barrett Sr. and Jordy Fernandez. So these guys have to try out and make it again. So we got to see where Dwight Powell's at, much like Andrew Wiggins, much like Cam Birch. We got to see where these guys are at this point and what they actually do when they practice and try out for the team. Then Zach Edey, I already talked about him. So those are the kind of the 5 players I see has got a really good chance to make the team, but there may be something that gets in the way or causes a problem for them to actually be a lock for the team, like the other 5 guys I named. So the 5 guys that are probably on the team, but maybe not a lock yet: Kelly Olynyk, Andrew Nebhart, Nickel, Dwight, and Zach. All right, the next tier is kind of players that probably have a good chance to make those last 2 spots or be alternates on the team just in case somebody gets injured or somebody cannot be there like Zach. So those 5 guys I have right now are Andrew Wiggins, and that's only because of the name. In some ways, I don't know if he will make the team, but if he busts his ass and he looks really good, he will. Watch, because he has a lot of talent if he's healthy and he's playing at a high level. Now, I would question whether Andrew's going to come in and take it seriously enough to really put the effort in and win it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. In some ways, Andrew Wiggins has been a very talented player his whole entire NBA career, but I question his motivation and just how he's pushed himself to get better and better over his career. At times, he really did get to new places over time with experience, but he could have been so much more than what he was if he had a different kind of mentality about his career, I believe. So in some ways, maybe that will hurt him in this invitation practice to try and make Team Canada. That if he doesn't take this seriously, if he thinks he's just got it in his ego and his head, he may find out a really sad reality for himself real quick. Melvin Ejim. I really think out of all the guys from last summer that are not NBA guys, Melvin has the best chance. That he is a heart and soul of Team Canada for a while, but it could be time to move on from that. And it signifies that we're going full NBA. Then we will say goodbye to Melvin. But I feel like Melvin has a good chance somehow, some way. Then I go into Kem Birch. The only reason why I put Kem Birch on this kind of could be on the top 15 list is because of his recent video of him and how healthy he looks and how much more agile he is. And Kem Birch is an amazing FIBA player. As much as Boucher is not a good FIBA player, Kem Birch is the opposite. He is built for FIBA. He's a brick wall with holding people off, and he plays FIBA so well. In fact, Kem Birch, people may discredit him and think, oh, he's washed, he's no good because of his last couple of years in Toronto and for San Antonio. But y'all don't understand. In FIBA competition, Kem Birch could be an all-star. And that's why he needs to be seriously considered, if not on the 12-man roster, especially if Zach Edey's not available. Put Kem in there as the backup center. If not, have him as a first option if somebody else gets hurt to come in and replace somebody. I'm serious. Really seriously think about that. Now, once again, this is going to depend a lot on how Kem looks against the other guys in the training camp. So, if he comes in there and he wows everybody like he looked on that clip we saw recently, well, he could be getting a spot. O'Shea Brissett is riding high this week. And in some ways, I don't know if O'Shea, because he's not a full rotation guy for the Celtics. He kind of came in here and there for them at times during the season. In some ways, I don't know how he'll compete in this. I don't know how he'll look against the other bigs, but I think he has a chance, especially since he was on the list last year, didn't make it because of injury. And then this year, he's kind of riding high, being a champion all of a sudden. And who knows? So O'Shea, I think, has got a good chance. Now, the last guy that I say has a really good chance to be an alternate or make the 12 is Trey Lyles. And part of it is his relationship with Jordi Fernandez from playing in Sacramento with him as an assistant coach. So he's extremely familiar with the head coach of Team Canada because he's been playing for him in Sacramento as the number one assistant coach under Mike Brown. So I think Trey Lyles has got a good shot. Not only that, he's got good size, once again, like Kem Birch, and he can do some good space taken up in FIBA game, but he has that three-point shot option also. Trey Lyles does have a bit of a three, so that makes him very, very attractive, and I think he may have a very good chance to make this team. Now, the 5 that I'm saying are on the out looking in is Kyle Alexander, as I said before. He's a serviceable big, but these other bigs are more talented. I brought up Kabengele. Kabengele is such a wild card. Like, I could see Kabengele making the team if he just wows everybody, kind of like Kem Birch coming back from Europe and just like, oh my gosh, Kabengele was just amazing. And the thing is, he's younger. So he could have had some strides in his game while he's in Europe in the last year that really show up when he comes in. So don't be surprised. He's kind of a dark horse. In some ways, if he comes in, and he absolutely has gotten way, way better, and he's showing shot blocking, and Zach doesn't make the team, Kabengele could be the guy. He could be the guy. The Scrub brothers will not make this team. One of them made it last year, but really both of them are not going to make it this time. I'm going to say that right now. As much as those guys are Team Canada year in, year out guys, they're just not good enough for this team that's going to Paris, and neither one of them should be on the team. I will say that Trey Bell-Haynes, very good service for Team Canada last year, but as I said before, we're upgrading the guards. And in some ways, Trey Bell-Haynes, his his position is taken by Jamal Murray at this point. So yeah, I will say Bell Haynes, the scrubs, Cabin Geely, and Kyle Alexander are most likely to be cut for sure. Just so y'all know. All right, there you go. There's kind of my run over the 20 names and where I kind of see them as far as in the hierarchy of possibly making the team. So yeah, very, very interesting. Most saying Dylan Brooks at the 905 practice court preparing for Paris Olympics. 2024 was nice to see. The fact that Rowan Barrett Sr. didn't give a clear answer on Corey Josephs pissed me off. Like, come on now. Well, he said some really nice things about Corey. He said, I've known Corey since he was just above my knees. So he's known Corey since a little kid. And he said, look, I have a lot of respect and I appreciate Corey for the things he's done. In some ways, these guys have to gauge the talent and where people are at. The Warriors did waive Corey Joseph. In some ways, Corey may have lost a step. In some ways, everybody's career, their prime is different. Just because Corey's like in his early 30s doesn't mean he can continue to play at the high level he's played in the NBA in years past. So it's sad in some ways. You hate to see it, but I mean, I understand. Jordy Fernandez saw Corey Joseph in Sacramento for a couple years and understands him because he was a guard there and he did work with Jordy before. And maybe he understands Corey and where he's at in his career right now. And it's sad, but true. I mean, I would have given him an invitation just as a nicety. I mean, in some ways, the Scrub Brothers are going there. Now, is there some sort of difference in like getting them, the different guys there in prices? Like maybe the Scrub Brothers don't cost no money to invite them down there, but Corey Joseph, he needs a stipend or something like that. And Team Canada can't pay it. And if there's no actual reason to try him out, because we got Jamal Murray now, we got Andrew Nebhard, then, I get it. I get it. That's why. I think that Rowan Barrett Sr. handled it pretty well. A very, very difficult situation because the press and the public have been very, very negative about the decision not to invite Corey Joseph and been very upset about it. I think he did a good job, though, considering everything. It's not easy. It's not easy. Now, the Team Canada guys have been in Canada for a couple of weeks, apparently. Working out, running up and down the courts and getting work in secretly. RJ Barrett, we barely seen on social media. Well, RJ's been playing with Dylan Brooks, and they've been practicing like crazy in the last couple of weeks. I'm sure Kelly's been there. Who knows who all has been there? Maybe SGA even too. So Team Canada guys have been meeting secretly for a couple of weeks now and putting in workouts already. So some of the guys in the core, like Dylan, have been around Toronto already putting in work. So this is good. This is very, very good. Tom Duke is saying, good morning, guys. Good morning to our West Coast chapter president, Tom Duke. Canada's senior women are hosting Portugal and Victoria next week. Looking forward to that. Also, I just realized there is also 3-versus-3 basketball at the Olympics. Yeah, that's a weird category. It's great. They're expanding more basketball in the Olympic competition. And, well, I have no problem with it. We have pretty good 3-on-3 teams for Canada, I believe. That's great. I hope, Tom, maybe you're going to the event in Victoria next week. Of course, the under women's team absolutely dominating the game yesterday. They actually beat some team. I think it was Dominican. It was like 117-27, y'all. That was the score for the under 18 women's Canadian basketball team beating Dominican yesterday. 117-27. Basketball's growing in Canada. Yeah, it is. Kareem's here. Good morning to Kareem. Good luck to the men's team Canada Soccer Club. They will be playing Argentina in Copa America tonight in Atlanta, in the Copa America. Okay, special shout out to my little cousin Kamal Miller, who plays left back. There you go. Kareem has a cousin that's representing our country, the red and white, in soccer. And they're playing a big game against Argentina today in Atlanta. Wow. Well, good luck to your cousin Kamal. And man, I hope that they represent and kick some butt. Yeah, let's go, Kareem. Awesome. Kareem saying, I'm glad to see Wiggins on the team. And for whatever it's worth, I would like to see him come off the bench in a Raptors jersey. Wow. Kareem, very much on the opposite side of Monique. These two, we're going to have different opinion on this channel. Different people are going to have different views. In some ways, I'm very much with Monique on this, Kareem. But you know what? You're a Wiggins fan, I can tell, and you're very, very happy that he's getting included. In some ways, let's see what happens. In some ways, we can't control this, Mo. So we're just going to have to see how they decide and what happens. I'm not going to get mad at Team Canada if Andrew Wiggins on the team. In some ways, I'd be interested to see how much he actually gets to play. even if he makes the team. Seriously. Because there's guys on that team that are going to play ahead of him, and he may actually have to eat some crow and sit near the end of the bench. Seriously, if he does make the team, even so. But yeah, very interesting, very very interesting stuff. I don't know about him on the Raptors though, Kareem. I'm not really down with that. Let's see. Kareem's also saying at Naco the Nacho, Kendrick did Drake pretty dirty last night, and I'm a Drake fan. Yeah, what are you guys talking about? You guys are talking about where did I miss some comment about Drake or something like that? Yeah, listen, okay, when they were in the concert, that's what it was. Listen, this whole beef between Drake and Kendrick has just been bad for both of them, but especially for Drake. My cousin came up to me the other day and said, Drake's finished. How can we even have him around our team at this point? The allegations that are going around about him with young women. Yeah, it's pretty bad. In some ways, these guys got to stop coming at each other because they're ruining each other's careers in some ways. Although Kendrick seems like he's doing fine, Drake's just really having a bad time right now. Yeah, it's a bad situation in some ways. Let's see. Most saying no sign of IQ on Twitch last night. Guess he got caught up with something. Trevor misread something the other day, I guess. No, I think that they were going to have that game. It's just that, things come up, Mo. And that I totally forgot about it last night. There was supposed to be a matchup, I believe, but maybe, sometimes things just happen. Maybe IQ got busy or with something real all of a sudden. Maybe the other team didn't show up. There could be all kinds of different reasons why this kind of stuff happens. It's not like an NBA game where it's scheduled and it's going to just happen. So in some ways, IQ's 2K games getting postponed or moved around, well, that's just part of it. They did that already a couple times, like with ones before. Nako's saying at Kareem, Kendrick's an elephant dancing on Drake's grave right now. Yeah, it's sad. It's pathetic. What are you doing, global ambassador? Like, why? What is this, man? Why can't you? All right. I have all kinds of advice for Drake, but in some ways, he's not going to listen to any of it. In some ways, he's just going to be who's going to be. I wish you were more of a relevant artist, like relevant to the times and like changing history and making like cultural changes that are good instead of just like a F boy that's kind of just whiny and cry. Yeah, in some ways, I'm pissed with you, Drake, too, because you're looking bad. And in some ways, you're associated with us. And we don't want to be looking bad because of people like you and Jonte. So, yeah, I'll say that about Drake right now. Trevor's saying, no, IQ said the 19th. He didn't show up last night. Yeah, he said it. That's the thing. These guys can have things come up. And maybe that IQ was like, oh, I got to get another extra practice. Or maybe there's he was in the office with Bobby trying to figure out the restricted free agency that he's in. So, I mean, whatever it is, the video games are great. They're great entertainment, but they're not set in stone. And if he doesn't show up, well, hopefully there's something much more important he's doing with his real basketball career instead of playing the virtual basketball career. Yeah, yeah. Cowboys here. Good morning, Lex, Dap, and the Raptor Freaks. Go Team Canada. Also, Scout Adu Therio. I believe you will like him. I believe he'll be a late second-round pick. All right, let me look at this guy. Bradley's got my scout for the day. His name's Adu. Adu. All right, let me see. Adu Therio. All right, interesting name. All right, he doesn't have a Wikipedia, which is always a sign that this guy is really under the radar. He has no Wikipedia. So he played for Arkansas. He's played for Arkansas. Okay, he was with Kentucky, but he transferred to Arkansas. All right, let me go try and look at him on the YouTube. There's no information about him as a biography. I can't go look at anything about him because there's no Wikipedia, Cowboy. That's usually a sign that the dude is really, really underground. If you don't have a Wikipedia and you're involved in the draft, there's something wrong. Let's just put it that way. If you don't have a Wikipedia and you're involved in the draft, there's something wrong. Let's see. All right, let me see which highlights should I look at with him. Let's look at highlights from February the 17th against Auburn. This is Kentucky versus Auburn. Adu Therio, February 17th, 2024. All right, let's see. Where is this guy? What position is he? See, I don't even know what position he is or anything because he didn't have no Wikipedia. All right, he looks like a forward to me. He's got pretty good body size for a college player. He got hit in the face and finished on that play. The guy hit him squarely in the face, and he still finished the ball. That's pretty good strength. All right, let's see what he does here. Okay, there's a steal by the Kentucky player. He throws it over to him. He throws it up, and there's a nice alley-oop. Yeah, his hops aren't as good as they he just barely got that alley-oop. So I don't know. His vertical could be better. Let's just put it that way. He's a big guy though. I can tell why his vertical's not the best. Yeah, that's a weird broken play. I think that's Reed Shepard or something who's made the steal and then they throw it up and yeah, it's an alley oop. Yeah, he just barely got it. But that, you know what? He did. He got it. So, and then they're doing the too short. I don't know why they're showing this highlight like 3 times in a row. Come on now. Let's move on. I want to see more. Come on now. It's not a very long clip. All right, there's some sort of block he can clean up. Was that him that dunked it? Is he number 5? Yeah, he did. He cleaned it up. He's number 3. He cleaned it up. There was a broken play. In some ways that's not that interesting to me because that's a garbage basket. Let's see. All right, he catches it. He got on the inside. He sealed out the defender who was trying to front him, and Shepard threw it into him on the inside, and he dunked it. You know, in some ways, with big guys like this that are on big programs like Kentucky, you've got to take into account the amazing talent that are around him, like a top 5 pick like Reed Shepard. So I don't know, Cowboy. This guy, in some ways, reminds me of somebody like, let me see. I don't want to say like I don't know. Like he reminds me of like Pop So. Somebody like that who's like got a big body and maybe can fill up a lot of space, but there's not a lot of skill there. I didn't see a lot of skill in that clip, just so you know. So I'm not that interested. If we're gonna go get a big near the end of the draft that's around that part, it's Jonathan Mogbo. We just got to do that because it's Scotty's dude. And also, you know, this is this type of player. I want to get Mogbo. Let's not mess around. So yeah, I'm not impressed in him. He was on Kentucky. He transferred away from Kentucky to Arkansas, but he had a lot of good talent around there. And some of those plays were built off the talent of Shepard and not necessarily him. Let's see. Trevor saying Canada dominated yesterday's women's under 18. I know 117 to 27. That was very, very cool. Trevor, for sure. Very, 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 very cool. Let's see. Cowboys saying, I agree, Kareem. Wiggins off the bench would be nice. Not for the Raptors. No, no, no. We don't want him here, man. Seriously, guys. We don't want him on Toronto. Seriously. You guys can like him, but I'm with Mo on this. I don't want him here. Bryce is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. That's right. It's Bryce's birthday. James is saying, is Shaden Sharp on the team? Isn't he Canadian? He is on the team, actually. Yeah, he is. And he's not trying out for it, though. In some ways, this is the thing. Sharp, all right, Sharp's not hurt either. Benedict Mathurin is hurt, and Sharp is going to be there too. Now, Sharp is not trying to make this team this year. In some ways, he's going to be on the team unofficially, but in street clothes, just like Ben Mathurin. He will be at Paris Olympics to observe and be a part of the program and see what's going on, but he will not be physically competing. In some ways, I think it has something to do with the Portland Trailblazers. I think it has something to do with free agency, maybe a little bit of a nagging injury. But Sharp is officially going to be on Team Canada, but he will not be able to compete. So he'll be on the injured reserve or just a part of like watching, just kind of like Benedict Mathurin. So he is involved and he is at the training camp and he will be there, but he's not one of the people considered to compete in Paris, but he will be at Paris. That's the interesting thing, James. Yeah, 23, Bryce. Oh, say you turned 23. All right, he's in his Michael Jordan year now. All right, MJ, his airness. Bryce Lawson. That's right. Cowboys saying happy birthday to Bryce. Let's go. Alley oop to Bryce. There you go. More Geminis on the all right, there's 20 for him. You know what? Let's just give him a 23. We're going to give him a 4-pointer because get him to 23. You got that Fred VanVleet 23, my guy. There you go. Yeah, Fiercely's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you, MJ. Hope everything's good in the Ottawa region. And David's here. Happy birthday, Bryce. All right, we got David Saborin in the house. So you know what? We're going to get the classic cosmic card of the day. Sponsored by Commissioner J, our commissioner of fun, Trevor J. We've got the classic card box. David is the commissioner now. Trivia. He's going to score how y'all do on the box. So depending on how you do, you'll get certain different point totals. You may not get 100. You could get a different point total. I don't know. He's in charge. So let me get the card. Don't half-ass me. Write the full name in. And David's going to tell me who got it as far as spelling and also who didn't half-ass it. So it's really, really important that y'all do this. Who is this? Oh, wow. This is an awesome card. This is a really weird card. And this may be a little bit weird, a little bit different. All right, so here is the classic card of the day. Points will be awarded by Commissioner David Saborin as far as like what is the points total. So here it is. Who is that? And this is a little bit of a throwback. It may be not that hard, but some people may not get it right away. Let's see who gets it. Full name gets the points. The Raptor Freak trivia season is started, and Seymour Papes got the first 50 points of the season 4. That's right. Who's going to get the next points? Tom Duke says that's Chris Paul. That is not Chris Paul. That is not Chris Paul, Tommy. That's an interesting guess. Now, he may be wearing the right team jersey for Chris Paul last season, but that is not Chris Paul. Anybody else got a guess on this classic card of the day, the Cosmic Classic card of the day? Come on, don't be shy. Give it a good whirl. Give it a good off the top of your head kind of guess. This is a really special card I'm looking at. Dwayne Casey. Dana thinks that's Dwayne Casey when he played. You know, Dwayne Casey's not a bad guess. He does kind of look like Dwayne Casey, but that is not Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey played way long time ago. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad guess at all. David's impressed by it. It does look like him. Does anybody know who that is? I don't want to give y'all guesses. This is a well-known enough player that somebody should be able to get this. Somebody should be able to get this. Come on, look at it real close. Who is that, guys? Who is that? Y'all should know this, honestly. This is a special card, too. We're going to look at it after we're done. Let's see. Did Kyrie's father play basketball? No, he didn't. No, he didn't, but he's got his own signature shoe. I'll say that. Kyrie's dad does have a signature shoe, but that is not Kyrie Irving's dad. This is a pretty famous player, guys. This is a player that's been an all-star. This is a player that's been in dunk competitions. That should tell you a lot right there. That's not David Thompson. That's a good guess. David Thompson's too far back, Bryce. This guy is not as old as David Thompson, the Skywalker, for Denver Nuggets. No, that is not David Thompson. But that's not a bad guess either. I mean, he does kind of look like David Thompson a little bit. This guy's more recent than David Thompson or Dwayne Casey, but not as recent as Chris Paul. Let's see. Randolph's here. Good morning, Randolph. We're doing the classic card. Do you have a guess on who this player is? You can get some points real quick. Stargate saying, ask Steve Nash who this is. Laugh out loud. Well, Stargate, if you know who this is, you should just say it. I think Steve Nash would know who this is, actually, because he played against him. This guy did play against Steve Nash in that era. So he would be somebody. Carlos Rogers, Isaac. No, that's not former Toronto Raptor Carlos Rogers. There we go. Smooth got it. It's Jason Richardson, guys. Y'all forgot about Jason Richardson? Look at this platinum portrait card. This is Jason Richardson, former great dunker. Look at this really cool card on it. Congratulations. The card you have received contains a piece of an authentic game-worn jersey, which was worn by Jason Richardson of the Golden State Warriors. That's pretty cool, guys. So this is a game-worn jersey card. This is the little part in here is actually part of his jersey from wearing for the Warriors. So if you guys like Jason Richardson and you want a special game-worn jersey card, this will be available at the Raptor Freak hangout the next time. I will give this to someone, especially if you're a Jason Richardson fan. So Smooth got it. Smooth Brown Man, Jason Richardson is the right answer. That's fantastic. Pure guess. Good job. Look at that. David's going to give you 150 points for this card. I would have said, Jason Richardson's so well known that y'all should have gotten this, and it might have been a 50 point or 100, but the way y'all struggled, David's going to give 150. And I will not dispute David's ruling because he is the official on the trivia now. So it's 150 points for Smooth Brown Man today on the classic card of the day, Jason Richardson game-worn jersey card. Wow, that's a pretty cool card, actually. Yeah, he gets forgotten. Jason Richardson gets forgotten in NBA history. That's why I say guys like Dame Lillard, guys like that are so touted now, they can get forgotten too. Because Jason Richardson was that kind of guy at some point too. I mean, he was just as good as Gilbert Arenas. He was better than Gilbert, if you ask me. Yeah. There you go. Good job, Smooth Brown Man. Very, very good job. All right, let's go back to the top of the chat where David made his first comment. Let's see. Nako's saying, happy birthday to Bryce. Nebhard needs to start. That's an interesting take, Gerald. I don't think that's true, though. My starting lineup is obviously in the backcourt, SGA and Jamal Murray. Nebhard will be that backup point guard for Team Canada. You got to start Gilgeous-Alexander for sure, right? And Jamal Murray, come on, man. What are you talking about? And even after that, you start Dylan Brooks probably at the small forward with RJ at power forward and Kelly at the center. That's the speculative starting five for Team Canada as far as I'm concerned. Now, they could upgrade Kelly possibly in the center position if one of the other guys is playing absolutely way better, and Kelly could be the backup center. Or we could see Dylan Brooks not start, and we could see some sort of like bigger lineup with Dwight Powell and RJ Barrett at small forward. So I don't know. There's a lot of options. In some ways, Jordy could bring in Lou Dort and Dylan Brooks off the bench as crazy defensive intensity all of a sudden to really clamp down the game. What we saw with Team Canada at FIBA World Cup last year was the first half, they would play kind of a lackadaisical defense and not as tough. But after halftime, they came out and put the clamps on teams. And there were often a lot of games with Team Canada last summer where the other team could not score in the second half because people like Brooks and Dort were absolutely shutting everybody down with their crazy, crazy good defensive ability. That's the one thing people aren't talking about. USA may have all the scorers in the world, but Canada has some of the best defenders in the world on their team. And that may be a big key to see why things are going to happen. That's right. Yeah. Fiercely saying, why do I feel like Andrew Wiggins gets favoritism? Well, he's hype. He is hype. He's a part of the NBA hype machine. He's a champion with the Warriors. He was a first pick in the draft. He's been, somebody who's been in the storylines of the NBA for like 10 years now. And being on the Warriors in recent years, you're going to get a lot more pub because you're just being talked about. Why is Andrew not with the team? Why is Andrew not with the team? So there's been a lot of talk about him. It's just he's a notoriety kind of player. And that's part of it. I don't know if he's going to get favoritism. I don't think he will. In fact, he may get a rude awakening real quick, Fiercey, when he doesn't make the team. So we'll see. I don't know how it's going to go. I have no idea what Jordy's going to value. I have no idea how the decision process is going to be going. If Andrew does actually have a good shot, if he comes in there lackadaisical, he probably won't make it. But if he comes in there healthy and badass at the top of his powers, he probably will. So there's no telling. There's no telling. Monique's saying happy birthday to Bryce also. That's right. There you go. David's saying because he does. He gets favoritism. There you go. Fiercey saying happy birthday to Bryce. And Tom's saying have a great day, Bryce. There you go. Fiercey saying yes, David. Ahmed's here. Our Raptor Freak trivia champion of season 3. Ahmed Gaming is here. Yes, Ahmed. Woo! Don't worry, my guy. You're gonna get your accolades soon. I'm gonna tell you, Ahmed. You're gonna have an amazing achievement that you're gonna see very, very soon, my guy. In some ways, I'm not gonna send you something. I usually send a reward for somebody who wins the prize, but there's something very special you're gonna get, and I want to save the surprise for you. But you are the champion, and you're gonna get something cool, Ahmed. So just wait. He's saying, good morning, y'all. Just finished 9th grade today. Wow. I will be busy for the rest of the week, so I don't know how active I will be until I get to Toronto. Well, Amit, you just do what you got to do to get ready for your trip here. It was announced yesterday, Amit, why there's no Global Jam this year. And it's only going to be this year that there's no Global Jam. And it really is because of the Olympics. You know, Canada basketball does run Global Jam. And with both the men's and women's teams going to the Olympics, 3 versus 3 teams, they have so much they've got to worry about with the Olympics and different teams that's why they announced there's no Global Jam this year. The other cool thing they announced about Global Jam is that they're going to have it in different cities going forward. They won't just be held in Toronto. They're going to go to different Canadian cities across the nation and hold Global Jam in different places each year. So keep your ears open, Amit, for when the Global Jam is going to be. And it may not be here in the 416 next time. It could be out in Vancouver or Montreal or something like that. So we got some of the answers about the mystery about why Global Jam is not happening this year. And it really is budgeting. And the people that do Global Jam, well, they have to be involved in organizing and taking care of things for Team Canada at the Olympics this summer. So it's pretty much what we thought. Fiercely saying at Trevor J, under 18 game was a complete smackdown. Not very competitive. So my daughter and I were kind of bored, but happy for Canada. Yeah, I don't mind this. I mean, this may be more indicative of Dominican Republic just not having very good young women playing basketball than Canada just being like, they're very good. And they probably just went up against a team that just had no business being on the court with them. Yeah, that score is crazy. 117-21. That is insane to me. That's so crazy. That is so crazy. Oh, my gosh. Smooth saying, join the team a little late. I'm pretty sure that all the invitees to the camp have a guarantee to be able to play from their respective situations if they make the team. That's not totally true, Smooth. Now, Zach has said publicly that he expects to be at the camp. He is. and he expects to be at Paris Olympics. But that may not be. See, part of the problem with Zach is he's going to get drafted before the Olympics start. And if he gets drafted by, say, the Miami Heat, and Eric Spoelstra says, we can't have you go to Paris. We need you to be at Summer League and doing the Summer League things a rookie does. He may not be able to go this time. So I know that it sounds like, well, if there's this and this, there's still things that have to be sorted out. And it's not just injury. It's that every single NBA team that has a player that's coming to the invite roster, well, they have to kind of get it sorted out. And all the other guys have. The Pacers have got it all sorted out with Nebhard and Mathurin, but Zach doesn't have a team yet. So we have a big question mark about if the team whoever drafts Zach Edey is going to allow him to say, no, we need you to be ready and get ready with our program and getting ready for the NBA season as our top rookie pick. So it's weird. He's a special case just because he's coming in from college right now and he doesn't have an official team yet. And that team could be an asshole. Seriously. Let's see. Adriana's here. Thank you. She's saying thank you for the birthday wishes. That's right. Adriana's birthday's today too, guys. Nako's saying happy birthday to Adriana, and David's saying happy birthday. Fiercey's saying congrats to Amit. Great great competition between Fiercey and Amit, and she's giving a gracious congratulations to Amit in a very tough battle, long year of trivia. Yeah, and happy birthday to Adriana from Fiercey. And have an awesome day from Tom. That's awesome. Smooth saying the Canada front office would not invite a player to training camp if there was not a chance that his NBA team would say no. You want to think that, Smooth, but you understand how I just portrayed this situation. In some ways it's because Zach wants to be there and he's coming on his own. But if he gets on a team and they're like, no, we don't want him to go. So that's why we have flexibility. If Zach all of a sudden is like, okay, he's drafted by, I don't know, Miami. I'll say it again. And Miami's saying, yeah, we don't want you to go. We want you to do Miami Heat stuff this summer. Then we'll have to go and get somebody like Kem Birch or Trey Lyles to fill his spot on the roster. It's good that we have options. Let's just put it that way. I love this the Twitter thread that Michael Grange did yesterday talking about all the amazing abundance of great Canadian basketball players and who wasn't invited. The list is insane. So it's like there's so many good options for Canada at this point that we can be flexible. As much as I would love Zach to be there for sure, is Smooth. Well, it may be that he misses this cycle, but he's going to be at the Olympics for like the next 3 or 4 cycles after this. So Fiercey saying ESPN are trash. Yeah, you can't leave Scotty out on this. They're leaving Scotty out on all kinds of lists, whether it's like the best under 25 players, whether it's the top people that are available for extensions this summer. Adriana is saying, thank you for all the birthday wishes, everyone. Much appreciated. And Monique's saying happy birthday to Adriana, too. James is saying it, too. Fiercey saying, okay, then. Happy birthday, everyone whose birthday is today. Yeah, actually, let me tell y'all, there's even more birthdays, y'all. It is actually today's Christian Coloco's birthday, guys. Christian Coloco is 24 today. So happy birthday to Christian. It's also, as I said, O'Shea Brissett's birthday. He is 26 today. It's also former Toronto Raptor Patrick O'Brien's birthday. He is turning 38. And Hassan Adams, it's his birthday, another former Raptor. And also, it is Nate Bjorngren's birthday today, guys. It's former coach Nate Bjorngren's 49th birthday, former assistant coach to the Raptors, Nate. So, yeah, we have like 8 birthdays today. It's all kinds of birthdays on the 20th of June. A lot of birthdays, yeah. O'Shea Brissett, Christian Coloco, Nate Bjorngren. Yeah. Let's see. Adriana, Bryce. That's right. Randolph saying, Thursday blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. You are chosen to lead because you have more than those who depend on your leadership. Do not try to follow those you lead. Wow. Now, I don't totally agree with this, Randolph, because I always feel like the teacher has something to learn from the student. And that if we become this person that's just like, I can't learn from anybody around me because I'm the one who teaches everybody else. I don't like that attitude because honestly, I need to be learning from everybody all the time anyway, even if I want to teach other people. So I like your sentiment, but in some ways I don't totally agree with it just because, everybody needs to be open to learning at every single time. And I get it. I get what you're saying, but sometimes it's good to pass leadership and be able to do both roles. Sometimes people just have to be the leader and in charge all the time. They're kind of controlling. And it's good to have the ability to kind of let the control or the leadership be in other person's hands. And you kind of are just an ordinary person sometimes too. So I don't know. In some ways, I don't totally agree with it. But Leo has got his life tips for today. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Leo's saying everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. That's an interesting comment. That's an interesting comment. We have our persona to everybody else, and then there's more and more layers of us are in the reality of who we are deep down. And sometimes we're guarded, and we don't let ourselves be vulnerable to show our true selves totally in an open sense, because in some ways we're scared, or we just want to be private people. So yeah, that's an interesting take by Leo. It's like people will see who you are. It may be that people have all kinds of ideas who you are. They don't really know you, though. They don't really know you. Nako saying, I don't think Team Canada has better defensive guard than Nebhard, save for SGA. I think Lou Dort and Dylan Brooks are better defensive guards than Nebhard. No offense. I mean, I would even say Nikel's in that picture too. I mean, we have a lot of really good defensive guards on our team. Lou Getz is maybe the best guard in the NBA. Dylan Brooks also gets a lot of acclaim for that. And Nikel's coming up. Now, Nebhard's not a bad defender. I'm not going to say that you're saying he's I agree with you. He's a very good defender, but I'm just saying those other guys, you're forgetting, Nako, the reputation of Dylan Brooks for defense. And also Lucas Dort is like he's getting acclaim from the NBA on all defensive teams. Lou Getz, like he's been on a third or second all defensive team for the NBA. So, all right, Alan Tam's got his official picks, and in some ways, I've been waiting for this. Alan Tam, bam, son, going to come in and tell me which 12 now. Now that he's seen the 20 list, Alan's been giving us his list, and I want to see what it is, where it's at this point. It's changed a bit. It's changed a little bit, morphed a little bit in the last month or so. But I like Alan coming in and doing this, even if it's repetitive and cut and paste. Let's see. He's saying SGA, Wiggins. He likes Wiggins. Murray, Brooks. Okay, Barrett, Powell, Olynyk, and Dort. And then Nickel, Andrew, Trey Lyles, and Zach Edey. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I once again, we'll have to see how Wiggins performs and if he can earn his spot. But most of it I'll agree with. I mean, Trey Lyles, we'll have to see if he's actually going to be involved in there. But I could see that happening. The list is pretty good. Alan. It could very well be. And you know what? Zach gets drafted. That's entirely an NBA team right there. And Alan's laughing. I like it. James is saying, if Wiggins does good in the Olympics, Masai could possibly take a chance on him. It sounds like a lot of you guys are really interested in Andrew Wiggins on the Raptors. It sounds like there's at least 3 people that are interested, Cowboy, Kareem, and James. So, I mean, all right, I'll get a little bit more interested in it as far as like possibilities. I mean, as long as the price is right, as long as his ego isn't a problem, as long as he's not like some sort of like distraction or a problem on the team, in some ways, I don't know. In some ways, I'm not very big Andrew Wiggins fan. I was interested in Andrew Wiggins maybe 5 years ago coming to the Raptors, but maybe he's aged up and he's like, it's too late. It's like, I don't want aged Andrew Wiggins to come here and take a contract and be like an Otto Porter Jr., guys. Seriously, think about that. How likely is it that we put a contract on him, even if it's the size of like an Otto Porter Jr. contract recently, and he does another Otto Porter Jr.? There is a very high probability that could happen. Just because we get names late, well, we know about Olajuwon. We know about Otto Porter Jr. So I would be cautious about Wiggins just for that possibility of him like sitting on the shelf, not even playing for us and just collecting a check. And then y'all are going to say something like in 2 years from now, oh, Wiggins just stole money from us. So, I mean, that's all I got to say about that in some ways. He's not dependable totally. Yeah, most really saying doubt it. I doubt it, like James, in reference to Wiggins. He doesn't like that. Randolph saying, Lex, hearing that the Knicks may renounce Precious for financial. Yeah, I mean, even though we traded those 2 guys there, 2 of the best defenders in the league, they're not respecting them right. Knicks, you don't get what you get. Seriously, you didn't understand the defensive boost you got from Anunoby and Achua when they came to your team. And, well, they go away this summer because y'all did not respect them the way you treated them. Well, your team's not going to be as good as it was in the second half of the season this year. Seriously, go ahead and make that mistake. I love it, Randolph. I love it. Bryce is saying, I appreciate you guys. There you go, Bryce. You have a fantastic birthday, my guy. James is saying at Mo, I would do a Bruce Brown for Wiggins swap. That's probably the best deal we can get for Bruce. I don't know if that's totally true. I mean, who knows? They're feeling things out there. It's like we were, Fiercey was asking me about the team option on Bruce Brown. So basically, it works like this: we re-sign him, we take the team option on him, and we use him as a trade chip. And if we don't, which has got to be done in the next 8 days or so, he will become a free agent. So we don't want to lose him for nothing. So it's very likely the Raptors will take the team option on Bruce Brown just so that they can move him. That's what a lot of the journalists are saying too. Tom Duke saying only 8 teams in the 3-on-3 events, men and women. The Canadian women qualify, but not the men. Our women ranked 5th and are led by twin sisters Michelle and Catherine Plouffe. I like Wiggins just saying. See, Tommy likes Wiggins too. It's really weird. In some ways, Monique and I are kind of in the minority on Wiggins, but I'll stand with Monique on this. I think that there's some fool's goal in what y'all are seeing, and I don't think it's the right kind of fit at this point. Once again, I will say Andrew Wiggins is too similar to RJ Barrett. And in some ways, RJ Barrett's our guy, whether it's on Toronto Raptors or Team Canada. And in some ways, I don't want we want diversification in our players. And if RJ's the younger version of Andrew, and in some ways RJ's better than Andrew was at that age that RJ's at right now, I don't want Wiggins on my team. And obviously, RJ's dad's running the team. So if Andrew, I don't know, they're too duplicitous in some ways. I feel like they're too similar. They're too similar. I've heard of these twin sisters that are on the 3-on-3 team. They look like each other. I wonder if that's how they are so good. It's like they confuse people. You know, twins playing and competing with each other on the court or on the ice, like the Sedin twins back in the day for the Canucks, is a very interesting phenomenon. So having the 2 twin sisters playing for the 3-on-3 team for women's Canada, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Dap to David, dap. All right, Tommy's saying no 3-second rule and 3 versus 3. Different set of rules might be fun. Another chance to cheer for Canada basketball. Tommy, my coverage plate is so full, and it's going to get even fuller with WNBA. So in some ways, I'm going to stick to Raptors, WNBA team, and Team Canada. I would love to do more CBL. I'm doing the 905 also. So it's like, in some ways, I can't add more teams and trying to learn more. I can't just do all of basketball in Canada. It's becoming such a huge thing at this point. It's almost like we need a Raptors freak. We need a Team Canada basketball freak also. Yeah, because things are getting so big at this point. Yeah. Let's see. David's saying it just seems like a big contract for a lot of uncertainty. That's what I'm saying, guys. That's what I'm saying. What's Andrew going to want? If he takes a vet minimum and we have, okay, if he doesn't show up, it's okay. We're only paying him this much, like Otto. In some ways, that's what I worry about. We don't want this guy. He didn't show up for Golden State the last 2 years, whether there were good reasons for him to or not. He did not show up consistently for them. In some ways, he's flaky. And I don't want flaky people on my team. Seriously. Y'all can be all like, ooh, we've always wanted Wiggins on our team, and we just want that dream to come true. But at what price, guys? At what price? That's what I'm saying right there. All right, there's a classic card guesses. I like it. And I feel like David did pretty good adjudicating the game today. And yeah, there's a Randolph saying happy birthday to Bryce. Health, joy, peace, happiness, and prosperity. There you go. There you go. Yeah, dunk champion Jason Richardson. What a beautiful card. Seriously, guys. It's a game-worn jersey card. It's very, very cool. Yeah, he's underrated. He had some really good dunks. And yeah, it's too bad. And Smooth saying that was a guess. It was a very good educated guess. Yeah, Bryce is saying he'd never seen him with hair before. I guess that was early in his career, Jason Richardson. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying, I knew it was Jason Richardson, but I wanted someone else to say it. Laugh out loud. Stargate didn't want the points. What are you doing, Stargate? Get those points, my guy. Get those points. Kareem saying he looks like he played basketball in the 80s. That was an easy card. Yeah, he actually played in the 2000s, though. He was not an 80s player. But it's weird because in some ways that may have threw you guys off. That's why y'all were saying things like David Thompson. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And Smooth saying at David Saborin, thanks. Well, don't thank him. He's Adam Silver now, Smooth, and he's going to be given the points for all the classic cards. And you just got 150 points for it was a difficult one. We struggled. That may be part of how David assesses the point total is how long does it take people to get it? So yeah, 150 to you. Most saying just don't ass wipe Andrew Wiggins. He's saying y'all are kissing his ass. That's what Monique's saying. Y'all are kissing Andrew Wiggins' ass right now. Yeah, I mean, listen, once again, I'm gonna stand with Monique on not being very keen on Andrew in any kind of form for either team. But you guys go ahead. We'll see how it all shakes out. If we get to see him on Team Canada, I'll be very happy because he's talented. But I don't want to see him on Toronto, guys. You guys are going too far. That's what I'm saying. Stargate saying, as Smooth Brown Man, did my Steve Nash clue give it away? I think it was maybe the dunk thing that I said. When I said that he's competed in dunk competitions and he's an all-star, yeah, I think that might have given away. Smooth saying, actually, yes, I had no clue before. Okay, it did. That was part of what helped him too. Dana saying, happy birthday, everyone that's celebrating a birthday today. And Dana, sorry about your plant. So sad about hearing about your plant. Fiercely saying, have to go, fam. Enjoy your day. Go Team Canada. That's right. And Full Ass is saying, bring back Precious. I'm not against that. In some ways, if there's a good contract, maybe that is something that happens. Although Precious loves being in New York. He's such a New York guy and he's at home. I don't know what they're going to do to him. Are they going to screw him over and send him away? I don't know. New York, treat your hometown guy right. Seriously. Monique saying that Toronto's happy for you, Pascal. Yeah. Yeah. Pascal deserves that money. I went and kind of tested the water of Pacers Nation to see how they feel about the price tag for Siakam that's being talked about this week. And some of them are saying he's not worth it. Some of them are kind of upset and saying that they're overpaying for Siakam. Some of them are very happy that they're getting him locked down and he's in long term and he's going to be a part of their future. But some of the other Pacers fans are very much saying he's not worth the money that they're paying them. So it's very interesting. Stargate saying it's a no on Wiggins for me. See, Stargate's all right. Stargate's standing with Mo and I. Yeah. Yeah. And Mo's saying, thank you, Stargate. Let's see. Stargate saying the next 7 days are going to be very interesting leading into the draft. I'm hoping Kel'el Ware is available at 19 and Bobby and Masai go with him. Here's hoping. Laugh out loud. I was really big on Kel'el like a couple weeks ago, but I've heard stories that he could be like an Ayton problem, that he's just not invested, that he doesn't care enough about basketball, that he's kind of not a good teammate. Like he's kind of not bonding with people where he played in Indiana. So it's tough, Stargate, because the raw talent is there. It's obvious that he could be amazing, but in some ways that talent don't mean nothing if the guy doesn't have the proper thing in his heart to drive him competitively. And that's the biggest question mark about Kel'el Ware at this point. The fact that he's in the mid-20s in a lot of mock drafts right now, where he could have probably maybe been the top 10 or early teens if this wasn't such a question mark. And it was revealed to me recently when I heard some of the stories about it. And they were saying, yeah, go talk to his teammates and his coaches about his work ethic and to get the full picture about him. That's what people are saying about him right now. Maybe it's a misdirection. Maybe he'll hear it and it'll feed his fire because he's disrespected. He's like, oh, I'll show y'all. I don't know. But in some ways, there is a little bit of a knock on him that he may not have like the fire inside him to compete. And that's scary. He could be like another DeAndre Ayton, is a guy who's like got all the gifts, all the size, the talent, but he just doesn't have that will or desire. And Monty Williams is yelling at him because he sees it. It's that kind of thing. All right, let me continue with the stream real quick. And let's see what else I wanted to talk about today. There's another article on ESPN this morning, and it's basically like how all 30 NBA teams nailed their 2024 off seasons. And this is what they wrote about the Raptors here. Even after making a flurry of deals during the season, dealing away Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Dennis Schroeder, among others, for RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Kelly Olynyk, and Ochai Agbaji, it still figures to be a busy summer for Toronto. Scotty Barnes, the former Rookie of the Year, is eligible for a rookie max extension, which at 5 years for $215 million would go down as the biggest contract in franchise history. That's a no-brainer. The team should also prioritize its starting point guard, who is a restricted free agent, and pick up wing Bruce Brown's team option for $23 million, which would give Toronto the ability to deal him elsewhere later on. If the Raptors do that, whoever else they acquire, either in free agency or with one of their 2 first-round picks next week, they only have 1 first-round pick. They have a second-round pick that's right at the beginning. They should have. They need to fact check themselves, honestly. Chris Herring. They should have the ability to hit the defensive glass. The Raptors finished second worst in the league in defensive rebound percentage. This is why I keep harping on y'all. We don't want guards in this draft. We need better rebounding. And that's why I'm only looking at 4s and 5s, guys that could get us more rebounds. And that's what Chris Herring's saying, that our biggest need is defensive rebounding. And I agree with him. I agree with him on that one. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Mo saying Raptors are preparing for a draft by posting pictures. Yeah, they did a whole like former draft pick montage with like Marcus Camby, Jakob Pertl, Charlie Villanueva, and Andrea Bargnani. Yeah, it was really cool to see all the old Raptors draft picks in the first round. People like Terrence Ross wearing the draft hat, and Jakob reposted his picture of getting drafted by the Raptors. Very proud of that. Yeah, yeah. And Stargate saying, "Oh man, that's not good," in reference to where. Yeah, I was like thinking this guy's so good. Why isn't he higher in the draft? Well, that's why. That's actually why. Randolph saying, birthday blessings to Adriana. We celebrate you and hope that you will enjoy every moment of it. Peace, love, joy, happiness always. There you go. Randolph with big time birthday blessings for Adriana. I second them, and also in all kinds of ways too. Stargate saying most people are only being patriotic when it comes to third views and wanting Wiggins on the Raptors. And that's also, you are looking at it with the basketball lens. See, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, I know he's past his prime. I can tell his prime was maybe like 4 years ago. And in some ways, he's at a point where he's just like, this is the thing. If you don't play enough, if you don't play hard enough and competitive enough, and you get older, you lose some of your skills. You absolutely have to be like DeMar DeRozan and just overwork as you get older and older and continue to stay at a high level. And Andrew, I don't know what he's been doing when he's been caring for his dad. I haven't seen him enough. I know at the beginning of this year, he was not good for the Warriors, and then he was hurt for most of the rest of the season. So in some ways, guys, we can have a romantic view of having Maple Jordan here in Toronto playing near Vaughn. But in some ways, that's not what we're trying to do with our team. We're trying to win. I know I've been very much, let's get as many Canadian team players on Toronto Raptors, but this isn't the right one. We need to be looking at the younger guys. They're coming off rookie contracts and getting them in the earlier stages of their careers, like RJ Barrett. So in some ways, Andrew's time may have passed. And instead of going to the Golden State Warriors, getting a championship, though, that was good. He may have should have came to Toronto then at that time when he left Minnesota. So it is what it is. It all works the way it does. And it just wasn't meant to be. There's going to be many, many, many Canadian stars that never, ever wear a Raptors jersey. That's just the way it's going to be. We can't get them all because there's so many now. There's so many. So many. Yeah, no problem with the typos, Stargate, at all. No problem at all. All right, let's do the Instagram stories real quick. We got Gary Trent Sr. He is bowling, and his friend is bowling. He's really bad. He absolutely missed the last pin in a really, really bad way. Yeah, Gary's got funny stuff in his Instagram stories for sure. Always. Yuta Watanabe is showing off the Japanese swag for Team Japan going to Paris Olympics. Of course, they've already qualified, but many teams are doing the qualifying tournaments coming up very soon to try and get one of the last 4 spots to go into the Olympics as a team. But Japan is going, baby. They're going to be there. Miles Burns is celebrating his birthday of his friend, Woodstocks. And yeah, he's always been there for him. And he appreciates him. He's his treacherous twin, as he puts it. Yeah, there you go. And then when they were in high school, a pretty nerdy picture of them in high school there. Koloko is saying happy birthday to Benedict Mathurin from yesterday. So he's good friends with Ben Mathurin. And then there's pictures of him as a little kid once again. Koloko showing the little pictures of him as a little kid in Africa are so cute. But of course, it's Koloko's birthday today, guys. So happy birthday to Christian Koloko. Mr. New York City has got all kinds of stuff going on. He's got he's not talking anymore. He's just going to go practice. He said too much. And he thinks he's actually saying this right now. Marquise has been told that he's done, that he's not going to make the NBA at this point. And he's trying to tell people that's wrong. So it's very interesting. Maybe something happened with him, and maybe like his chance to be in the NBA was last year. And that's really how it is. It's that hard to make the NBA. Well, he's going to try and go against it and still try and make it. I don't know if the Raptors have continued to keep a flyer on him. I don't know what's happening with him in general around the league. But yeah, they're saying some people have been telling him he's done at this point, and he's mad. And he said nothing motivates people more than disrespect. I'm telling you right now. Kelly Olynyk's got a cool picture of him and his wife and some young lady, and I don't know what that is she's holding. It looks like a gingerbread man or something. It's Ryan's Foundation or something. I don't know. There's something like that. And he's very proud of him and RJ being invited to Team Canada. The Raptors have a post celebrating RJ Barrett and Kelly Olynyk being on the list for yesterday, and he's reposted it himself in his Instagram stories. Let's see who else we got in here. Lloyd is in New York, it looks like. Slim Duck, like I said, all right, listen, there's a funny clip of our guys on Raptors Today with Akil Augustine, Eric Smith, and those guys trying to guess who was the most the Raptors who scored the most points off the bench in the history of the Raptors. And they're saying like Lou Williams and all this stuff. They don't understand that it's a guy who's on our team right now. It's Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher has scored the most points off the bench in Raptors history, and people don't even know that. It's crazy. So Chris is like, put some respect on my name, y'all. Y'all need to understand this. And then, of course, there's the part he's appreciating Pascal for the news about his contract. And he said, "You deserve this, my brother." Yeah, I totally agree with you, Chris Boucher, showing support for his good friend Siakam. And then, yeah, there's his answer to like not being on the 20 list. No comments. So don't ask Chris how he feels about not being on the Team Canada invitee 20-man roster. Don't ask him. He has no comment. In some ways, it's like, don't even bother him. Just let's respect our guy Chris and just allow him to have his own space. Gary Trent Jr. actually posted something. He's doing something. All right, this is something that worries me because of the plantar fasciitis problem last year with Gary. It seemed like, well, he's doing some workout with some foot pad things, and he's not wearing his shoes. Gary, man, really watch your feet in your arches, please, this offseason, because it seemed like you were all messed up because of running on the beach and with no shoes on in the sand. And I ain't about that. So don't mess up your arches, bro. I mean, if you're not on our team, I won't care. But in some ways, I'm just telling you, man, don't mess with your arches. Come on now. Let's see. Thad Young is putting on blast Thad Young Jr., of course. And he's also talking about how NBA players are more hands-on with business deals like himself. No, Thad is very much a businessman. He's got all kinds of ventures. And, well, that's more of a trend in the NBA. It used to be like people and business people would do it for them. Well, they're actually going in and doing the negotiating and doing all the business themselves now. So there's more of a trend of NBA players taking the bull by the horns and doing their own business themselves. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, there's a montage of all the Raptors draft picks on Raptors Official that Monique was talking about, starting with Zeke and T-Mac in one of the pictures there. Very, very cool stuff. There's your Instagram stories for today. Yeah, there we go. David saying, are we going to sign Gary Trent Jr. or what? I don't know. In some ways, I don't think we are. I think that the market is going to determine what happens with Gary. If Gary has a really good offer that's really big, like Fred did, he's going to go. If it's a modest offer or something that we're willing to pay him, then he might stay. But if he's going for the money, he's probably going to go somewhere else. Let's just put it that way. Stargate saying, David, I suspect he is gone. Yeah, I mean, he had a great run with the Raptors. We'll always love him and stuff like that. But in some ways, he's part of the old guard that just left. And in some ways, we're starting fresh. In some ways, we want to have more players that kind of work in the vision of what Darko's trying to build. And I don't know if Gary completely fit in some ways. So David's saying, shout out to MSJ if you're watching. There you go. Dap to Chris. Yeah, I'll give dap to Chris. Moving to South Korea. And I hope that he has all the good luck in Asia in his new chapter of his life. I know that he left here in some acrimony, but it is what it is. In some ways, I wanted to tighten up the stream, and it has been tightened up since. So I will say that. And Mo's saying, if you were working for 905 right now, who would you have as an assistant coach? David's saying myself. I don't know. I want Evo to run that team next year. I want Simovic to run that team. I think that in some ways his past with Darko is just a good synergy, and they'll know each other and what each other are thinking because they've worked with each other for so long. So in some ways, and plus Darko has an agenda to maybe promote more Serbian coaches in the NBA. Well, he can give a leg up to his guy Evo and get him more on the path with more accolades and more achievements, giving him the job at 905 this year. So I'm hoping it's Coach Evo. It would make the most sense. He's capable. He knows what he's doing. In some ways, we could see a huge, huge jump with how well our 905 does this year with a capable coach that knows what he's doing. I'll say that again. Now, Stargate saying, anyone else scratching their heads about the Pistons? Strange. Nah, I'm not. It's really because they changed owners suddenly. And in some ways, everything that happened before with Troy Weaver is out the door. They fired the GM. Well, they didn't want the coach that the GM hired because it's a whole new regime. And ownership fired Monty Williams. In some ways, they just did Monty Williams a huge favor. He didn't want to coach the Pistons last year, but the Pistons threw so much money at him, and that was part of the reason probably why Troy Weaver is fired at this point, they want their own new guy. Now, this is a great thing. Monty Williams will not coach this year for anybody. Watch. There's no way. He's going to take that money from Detroit and he's going to stay home with his wife who has cancer. That's part of the reason why he didn't want to coach this past year, is because he's been reeling from the things that have happening with his wife's health. And they had to pay him so much. And he came in, he was miserable coaching the Pistons last year. And all the losing, it hurt his NBA career winning percentage. He got paid to lose last year. And in some ways, he got paid and he was distracted from his family's health. So there's no way Monty's going to coach this year for anybody else, even if the Lakers come at him real strong. No, he needs to stay home, take that money from the Pistons, and take care of his wife. Because, it is what it is. In some ways, maybe they're freeing him up to go somewhere else. Maybe he told them, he went to the owner and said, I hate you. F you, you big piling piece of shit. And you're fired. Maybe he did that. Maybe he went in there and got himself fired. He's like, I can't take this anymore. Could you see that? Could you see Monty Williams going in there and just breaking the bond or the relationship with the Pistons so badly that they had to fire him? And he knows he has guaranteed money. He could come in there and say something to the owners and say, yeah, F you guys. And like, what? We don't want this guy coaching our team. He doesn't respect us. He's fired. Oh, good. I'm going home. I'm going to get $50 million to sit at home. I mean, seriously, he could have easily done that. And if they took the bait, it's like, nah, we can't fire you. You go ahead and cuss at us. We got to pay you so much money. You can go ahead and cuss at us. I don't know. I don't know how it went down. It was an ownership decision, though, apparently. That's what we're hearing. David's saying the whole world probably, what's wrong with some of these franchises is insane. We're so lucky to have the head office we do. E-Tricks, laugh out loud. Yeah, yesterday's friend, our guest yesterday, yeah. No, it is really crazy. There's a lot of mismanagement going on, and it's not our team. Trust me. Our team is gone and through really rough waters and sailed right through them pretty good considering everything. Stargate saying, can we get Monty on our staff? No, like I said, he's not going to want to work for anybody this year. He needs to take a year off, just like Coach Bud, and take a year off and just be away from the game. He has things that are much more important than basketball to worry about, and that's his wife. So let's just put it that way. James is saying if Detroit gets top picks in the next 2 years, they're probably going to strike gold. Listen, it doesn't matter, James, if you're inept in your front office. You can be Charlotte, Washington, and Detroit and lose every single year and have all the lottery picks in the world. This is why the whole thing about tanking is just stupid strategy. I don't care if they're in the top pick. They could get the top pick in the draft the next 3 years. They'll mismanage it and they will not get anywhere. That's the thing is that I'm trying to say. These teams are set up to succeed because they're the worst teams in the league and they get the top picks, but they still manage to be at the bottom of the league. Why? Because they're not run smartly. They don't have intelligent people running the teams. They don't know what they're doing. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, Detroit absolutely does not know what they're doing at this point. They may have done this to try and change things, to try and get to somewhere where they know what they're doing, but they don't. They don't know what they're doing, and they could lose this year, get the number 1 pick next year, and they'll still not know what they're doing, and they'll still lose the next year after that. So just because you lose and you get top picks doesn't mean you're going to get better. They're going to strike gold. Cade Cunningham is gold. You can have gold sitting on the team. It doesn't matter. You're not going to win. Spurs fans are saying we need to get Cade Cunningham from their team and team him up with Wemby because he's just getting wasted away there. And everybody in Spurs Nation is saying, oh, Detroit's going to waste him. They won't let him go. They're going to hold on to him, and he's not going to do jack shit in his career, but lose. And is that unfair to Cade Cunningham? Maybe, but that's just the team that drafted him. And in some ways, they control his destination or his destiny for a while, at least until he gets a chance to decide. Yeah. Let's see. Full Ass is saying, I don't blame Detroit over the past 6 years. It's all that led in their water that's creating a lot of irrational decisions. That's pretty funny. It's sad and also funny. I don't know. In some ways, should I really give him a dunk on the misery of people? That's actually true. All right, we're going to give him one dunk for this because it is pretty witty. But, yeah, all right, 164, Kareem. 164. Stargate saying, oh, wait, Monty's new wife is sick now? Oh, no. Didn't his first wife and their daughter die in a car accident a few years ago? Oh, man, yeah. That's the crazy thing. He's had a lot of tragedy in his personal life. He had a wife die in an auto accident, and his new wife has cancer now. So, yeah, this is a big part of it right here. Monty is fired. Well, that's good for him. Get paid and don't have to do nothing but be at home and take care of your wife. Yeah, that's the better option. You can imagine the stress he had last season, losing so much for the Pistons, him second guessing, why the hell am I here? Oh, yeah, the money. And really wanting to be with his wife instead. Most saying W stream, W vibes regarding of what we think. Keep it at it always. Good times approaching. Go Raptors for life. Raptor Freak family crew strong forever. There you go. The cutoff by Mo. We'll respect it today. We'll very much respect it. Stargate saying very sad. Yeah. If we don't agree on things like Andrew Wiggins, that's fine. So once again, I'm going to do my speculative team that I think is going to make Team Canada. I'm going to say it right now. SGA, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, Lou Dort for sure. Kelly Olynyk, Andrew Nebhard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And then after that, I say those 8 are pretty sure. After that, the last 4 are kind of, and it depends on where they are at. Dwight Powell, Zach Edey, depending on whether Zach Edey can be there. He should be there. If his team doesn't allow him to, then we got to make a different choice. Dwight Powell, we'll have to see where he's at. Kem Birch, O'Shea Brissett, Trey Lyles. I think they have chances to actually make this team. Andrew Wiggins obviously is a very special case in this whole thing. We'll just have to see how that works out. And I also feel pretty good about Melvin Ejim in some ways, but he may be the last guy out of those 5 that I think have a chance. I do not think that Trey Bell-Haynes, the Scrub brothers, and Kyle Alexander will make this team. Mfando Kabengele, he could make this team. He's a dark horse candidate. So if I really had to pick 12 and my educated guess of who's going to be on Team Canada, and we'll see if I'm right, or Alan Tam, Bam's son, is going to be right. SGA, Jamal, Dylan, RJ, Kelly, Andrew, Lou, Nickeil, Dwight Powell, but not Zach Edey because he's not going to be able to play because of his team. Trey Lyles instead of Zach Edey, O'Shea Brissett, and Melvin Ejim. I'm going to say that's the team that's going to get there. Yeah, there you go. Trey Lyles, O'Shea Brissett, and Melvin Ejim as the kind of the question mark guys. So there you go. Just off the top of my head, that's kind of where I'm at with thinking about it. We'll see what they decide over the next little while. And we've also got, of course, the draft coming up next week, and we're going to talk way more about that too coming up. So y'all, thanks for watching. You think that's a small team though? Not really. If we got Kelly, Dwight, Trey Lyles, in some ways it's not up to us what happens with Zach. We'll have to see. The Raptors can draft Zach, well, then we have more power over it. And I know that they'll let him go to the Olympics if he's drafted by the Raptors. So in some ways, we really do want the Raptors to draft Zach Edey because that'll be good for Team Canada in some ways. I mean, I know you're saying this small team, but let's think about this real quick, Stargate. Oliver Ryu is being listed at 7'9" by the Florida Gators. That's the future of Team Canada basketball right there. 7'9". I think that's an embellishment. Seriously, I could see 7'7" or maybe 7'8", but 7'9" is ridiculous. They're definitely adding in the sneakers, the sneaker inch. The sneaker inch is in there. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you enjoyed this channel, even join the channel, you get a chance to have all kinds of perks, hidden perks you wouldn't even imagine that are there. So yeah, I appreciate everybody. And thanks for talking about Team Canada with me. Great announcement. It's an interesting 20 list. It's in some ways controversial, but we'll have to see how it all works out. Coach Jordy assessing the camp and seeing who's going to make it and who isn't. And thank you, Commissioner David. Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Thank you, Tom Duke. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, everybody who helps me with this channel and everybody who participates. And happy birthday to all the crazy June 20th birthdays today. Lots of birthdays today. So lots of birthday joy today. All right, y'all. Thank you. Let's go Team Canada. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri, Jordy Fernandez, and Rowan Barrett Sr. Let's go.